Hi guys, this is me, Tiffany. So today we're going to take a quick tour of my garden. I'm going to warn you, it is a mess. It's so easy to show perfect gardening, but what does it look like in between? Well, we're about to find out. So this is the time that I'm transitioning from my spring and summer items to my winter, fall items, planting cover crops, pulling plants up, and also making plans for what I'm going to do for the next season. We can see our Barbados cherry looking great, but it does need to be pruned. All of this excess kind of sticking out needs to be cut. So that's something to do for our next season. This is my Olympian fig tree. She's doing great. I just put her in the ground this summer and she's awesome. The one thing that I want is I want 3 main branches, but I need them spread apart more. So for the next season, I'm going to have to take something and tie my 3 main branches apart so it doesn't grow up as one big plant. We have various citrus. They're looking good. You can see that where they're sitting, I have a lot of grass overgrown. I'm going to have to take care of that as soon as I move my pots inside in the fall. But it is what it is. Can't wait for these tangerines to turn so I can start eating those. Here is a new dragon fruit plant that I acquired this spring. Have had difficulty growing her, not because she's not growing, but because of ants and other things eating the little limbs that are trying to grow. When she does try to grow, this right here happens. Something comes and eats it. Moving along, here are the totes that did house my peanuts. You can see that I've planted them now with carrots. Those carrots need to be thinned here soon. And the metal grate is to hopefully deter the squirrels. Here is a cutting of my honey murcot tangerine. This is 2 years old and she's looking great. I know she's not very shapely, but I'm going to leave her alone because she's still growing. Hopefully she will begin to produce fruit next season. This is my physical graffiti dragon fruit. She looks great. Lots of new branches. So I anticipate this actually fruiting. If she doesn't fruit next season, she might be on the out the door list. This beautiful plant is my key lime that I cut back to about right there last year, and she's grown back. I need her to be giving me fruit next season. So this is my Ichikike Gyro persimmon. She did not fruit this year. Hopefully next year. She's actually a little taller than I want her to be, but I think I'm gonna leave her alone and see what comes next year. My lovely calamondin, I've got to pick her fruit and then I'm going to take the tree out of the pot, and that's it for this calamondin tree. Behind my calamondin is my dragon fruit plant. You can see I've got dragon fruits that are breaking color. That means that they're turning red. This one has turned the reddest so far, looking absolutely great. This is a huge dragon fruit. Can't wait to harvest that. It'll be another week. So here is one section of my raised beds. It's quite a mess right now. That's okay. Right here in the front, here where all the grass is, and back there are my strawberries. Those strawberries, I'm going to dig all of them up. I'm going to have to put those in like a strawberry tower. Strawberries go everywhere, so I don't think I want them in my raised beds anymore because they've taken over quite a bit of real estate. So I need to contain them better than I am doing. Here is my flower bed of ginger, turmeric, and galanga. I will be harvesting this probably in the next month. The turmeric flower is still going strong. I thought that this thing was the flower, but it's actually not. I think the flowers are these yellow things right here. This is some ginger root, and I'm pretty sure this ginger root's about ready to flower. I think that's what that is. So in this raised flower bed, I had corn right here. You can see that I've torn that corn up. The corn was popcorn, and here's my harvest. I did leave the tomato in there. This is a Beef Master tomato. This thing has been going strong since April, and she still has tomatoes on her. So I'm going to leave her in there until the frost. I've already planted some brassicas. In the front this is cabbage. You can see I'm going to have to replant over here. And back there is Brussels sprouts. I tried to plant collards back here, but I have a big problem with bugs and stuff eating my plants. You can see right here, this plant is trying to recover from bug damage, but you can see that there are other plants that have been pretty well just decimated by bugs. On this side, I have an empty bed because I just dug up my sweet potatoes recently. I've got to kind of clean up the sweet potato aftermath. Over here, this is asparagus, believe it or not. So I need to come here and cut the asparagus stalks and probably throw some type of clover or something in there to let it overwinter. And this will come back in the spring. Here are some citrus and pomegranate plants that I have. Here's pomegranate, quite tall. The pot's down there, that probably needs to be repotted. This citrus is one that I said I was going to get rid of, but I think I'm going to give it one more year because it's very bushy. Surely it'll produce fruit. It's been flowering for years, but the fruit it's got to work on. Here is my honey murcot tangerine. This one I will eventually get rid of, but probably not this year because she's holding fruits. And the sad thing about these fruits, these take a long time to ripen. These won't ripen until about maybe end of March or April. So speaking of planning for next year, this is my Chicago Hardy fig. She's doing great. She's still producing figs, but next year I'm going to have to give her a major prune. The reason why, if you look up there at my gutters and look at that limb almost hitting the gutters, that is a no-no. So I'm going to have to bring this tree back to earth, probably about 4 feet. Just to show you, she's still got a lot of figs on her. Some are blushing. She's been producing figs and giving me figs since the beginning of August. So that's pretty awesome. The problem is that I have things that come over here and eat my figs before I can get over here to them. Here's another section of my raised garden beds. I've dug up sweet potatoes from here as well. The okra was too tall, so I chopped it, and it looks like it's going to try to come back out. So I'm leaving the okra there, hoping that I can get at least a few more pods. And if we look at this plant right here, you can see that she is still producing okra, and I suspect that the others will too. So I have at least a good month of warm weather, so I might get, a few more harvests out of this okra. Here's my lovely greenhouse. As you can see, the greenhouse is a mess. It is out of control. I have sweet potatoes drying. I have beans that I'm trying to dry on their stalks. I have sunflowers that I'm trying to dry. There are peanuts in here drying. I told you about my sweet potato harvest. Sorry I did not take you along. My sister was here and we were just having a good time. So I didn't show you, but you can see that, you know, we got some good sweet potatoes. Again, I've got bugs in my soil eating everything. Those are some of my red sweet potatoes. My sister and I found a lot of sweet potato damage. I would say at least 25 to 30% of my crop was eaten by who knows what. It's either moles. I don't know if we have voles here or not. I don't think so. I do know we have moles, and it could be like a rat or something, but they really took out my crop. Over here, I've got loofahs that I need to harvest. I've got bell peppers coming on, so I left this plant here. You can see she's really loaded with bell peppers, and they've got another good month, so I should get a good harvest. Over here I've got gypsy peppers. Gypsy peppers are like a sweet pepper that you could just eat plain. I planted wheat back here as a cover crop. This is my blueberry persimmon bed. You can see that my running grass here is trying to take over, especially there in the center. So what I'm going to have to do this winter is get some type of black tarp and run it down the middle and also between the plants and snuff out that grass. That grass is getting quite prevalent. I don't like that. So over here is the remnants of my mounded garden bed. You can see that back here I have some okra still standing. Same thing, hoping to get a second crop out of that. My sister and I, we came and we harvested the sweet potatoes. These sweet potato vines that you see are ones that have actually grown out into the yard. So I've got to get the lawnmower and take those out. But we got all the potatoes out of the mound. Here we've got some leftover tomatoes that are still growing, so I'm going to leave them in the ground until the frost kills them. This over here is San Marzano, which I am not impressed with. You can see these are the little tomatoes. And then over here is more of the beef master tomatoes, which I am impressed with. I'm impressed with the fact that they can withstand disease and produce all season. This is not one of those that I have to pull up and replant. These have been in here all season long. This is my poor little chicken garden that had the sunflowers in it. So the chicken garden is right here beside my chicken coop. And when I let my chickens out, the first thing they want to do is come over here and dig and look for worms. So they dug this out pretty bad. And so I'm going to have to do some work on their little garden. Maybe hard to tell, but this is my passion fruit, aka Maypop. And I only have one fruit that made it, which is this one. But you know what? One fruit's better than no fruits. So I can't wait until this starts turning yellow so I can pick that and at least have my one Maypop. In the back of my mound garden are my pawpaws. You can see them there in the background starting to turn yellow. I'm going to have to hard prune pretty much all of those. There are power lines right there where they are, and you can see that they are a bit taller than the power lines. I probably need to take all those trees down maybe about 5 feet or so. So I'll do that at the end of February, maybe mid-March. This spring I planted 2 mulberry bushes in the same hole, and they are right here. So you can see how close this mulberry is to that pawpaw. So I'm going to have to take this pawpaw back probably about 3 or 4 feet to give these 2 mulberries room to grow. I'm looking forward to great things from both of these. There's one here and the other's over there. Another thing that's happening is, if you look, I've got pawpaws. That's the pawpaw growing everywhere. I'm going to have to come and pull up these pawpaws. Over here, back there is pawpaw. That's pawpaw. That's a blueberry. And beside the blueberry is pawpaw. That's a pawpaw. So I'm going to have to come and pull up some pawpaws. These are two of my fig bushes. This is the bush that I call Miss Ruth. And this bush has done great. She gives really big fruits. So you can see she's still got plenty of fruit on her, ripening up. This other fig bush has grown way too tall. And so I'm going to have to take about 4 feet off of this bush. So I've got heavy pruning to do to this bush in February or March of the coming year. Also, I noticed a bunch of offshoots trying to grow down here. I'm going to have to pull those up. When I grow a tree, I usually try to have just 2 main branches or 3, but all of this down here just becomes a mess. So I'm going to have to get rid of that. Jumping back to my mounded garden, over here I planted some turnips for the greens, not for the turnips. Back here I planted some mustards, and then this next mound there is collards, broccoli, and I think that's chijimisai, but I forgot. I have to check my records. That is pretty much it. I will keep you updated on my garden. Right here, when fall comes about, I have to transition over and things just get sort of messy. I'll keep you updated on the progress of my gardens. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.